and how the third-party vote could affect the election. UATV starts now. On campus that not a lot of students know about. Coming up on UATV. Fayetteville book lovers rejoice as renovations on the library continue. More coming up on UATV. From hunters to the hungry dinner table, how one nonprofit organization in Arkansas is giving back to our communities.
Thanks, guys. That's right. This coming weekend against Georgia on the Hill, Razorback Stadium is going to look a whole lot different due to COVID.
Thanks, Caden. I'm here live where the Razorback Marching Band normally does their practices. Due to COVID-19, they're only allowed in the stadium a handful of times. I was given special access to see how they're operating during these times.
That's right, Jack. I'm here off of College Avenue in front of the Vet Center, where many of Northwest Arkansas's veterans start the process of getting help through these very doors.
Thanks, Kaylin. This past week I traveled down to the University of Arkansas Fort Smith and joined their Lion Company ROTC for land nav training. There at Fort Chaffee, I met Sandra Perez, an immigrant from Mexico, where I learned her story.
The road to citizenship for most Hispanic Americans could be a difficult path. Private First Class Sandra Perez is a member of the Arkansas National Guard and the Reserve Officer Training Corps. Recently, she was granted her American citizenship. Perez joined the Arkansas National Guard in January 2019. She already had her residence card when she joined the National Guard, which helped her gain her citizenship faster. But Perez says her main interest in joining the Guard did not come from wanting to be a citizen.
I first became interested because I was in ROTC. I found passion in wearing the uniform. Soon after, I knew that I wanted to enlist.
Since returning home from basic training in AIT, Perez did follow that goal and is now on track to commissioning as an Army officer after she graduates.
Because I didn't want to be just another number in the military. I wanted to have a voice, and I'm a firm believer that if you want change, you must be that change.
Women make up only 16% of the Army and 14% of the officer corps. With the forever changing demographic of the military, more and more women are taking over leadership roles.
Being female in the Army brings its obstacles, but I can say those obstacles have made me a better individual. But overall, I can say my experience in the Army has been very, very good.
Perez says she hopes to be an influence on future leaders of the Army.
Yeah, I have family in town.
Battalion commissions anywhere between 5 and 15 women officers every year. Reporting live for UATV, I'm Fletcher Cowden.
Thanks, Caden. I'm here outside the Fayetteville Public Library on this rainy, cold night, where, as you can see behind me, construction workers are finishing up their projects on the renovation. Now, I did come here earlier and I was given a tour of what's going on. When you walk in the front door, the books are still in the same place. The only difference is that there's a bunch of boxes around the area of new equipment that they got in. From there, I was taken upstairs where I got an overview of the new Kids Center, where they'll be keeping all the same books, but there's more space for the family. Even airplanes are hanging off the top of the ceiling. Upstairs from there, there's a teen center where video games are going to be included. Some of the other new additions that they will be adding to the library is an art center and even a culinary kitchen that was a partnership between Fayetteville High School and the library to give those high school students college course credits for that class. Also, but COVID-19 did give some barriers in the way of the renovation.
We were supposed to get ceiling tiles and carpeting and seating. That all got pushed back several weeks because when there were stay-at-home orders within states, they couldn't manufacture the products.
It's fine.
Now, construction workers are still wearing their mask and maintaining social distancing while continuing this project. I will say my favorite part of the tour was the new performing arts studio that they're building, which will be able to have a capacity of 600 guests and even changing rooms in the back for plays. Reporting live for UATV, I'm Fletcher Cowden.
Thanks, Caden. I'm here live where the Razorback Marching Band normally does their practices. Due to COVID-19, they're only allowed in the stadium a handful of times. I was given special access to see how they're operating during these times.
Like the Arkansas Razorback football team, the school's marching band is doing its part to make game day a little more normal. Even though the Razorback marching band is not allowed to form the Giant A pregame nor perform their halftime shows, this year's increase in stand tunes and cheering reminds Hog fans they're still there. Not only does the band have to follow strict restrictions following the state's guidelines dealing with COVID, but they also have to follow rules put in place by the SEC and the university.
We're part of several research studies that we were funding with a lot of other universities, and then those research studies then gave us data and recommendations on things that we can do safely.
To combat these changes, the band split into two, the red and white band. These two bands alternate every other home game. During the first half of the game, half of each band is allowed into the stadium, and the other half is allowed in during the second half. This is how the band can quarantine if an outbreak was to happen. Despite the challenges, the members are all still having a good time.
School's pretty unchanged, and we're still doing the same things, playing the same music. We're just a little less of us.
The Best in Sight and Sound remain flexible for any obstacles that could come in their way.
Yeah, guys, I can totally tell why the band loves practicing in the stadium a whole lot more. As you see, it's loud over here with the train. Unfortunately, they don't have that opportunity this semester. The 308-member band is setting the standard for colleges across the country when dealing with COVID-19. For UATV, I'm Fletcher Cowden.
Thanks, Katie. I'm here live on Wynwood Drive where concrete blocks like these have been put in place. Here, 3 have been placed, and in Sherwood Drive, 5 have been put in place. Now, residents of this area do say it is quite controversial for them. Out of the 5 people I spoke to, at least 3 of them said they just plain didn't look good. Some say that they have just too much industrial look, but they do understand the importance of them keeping kids safe that are playing in the streets. A lot of them also mention the fact that it can cause problems with traffic. They're waiting and stopping going for both ways. City official Dan Eifling says that the city plans to test these out in other areas of the city.
The thing about the boxes is that they're portable, so unlike a speed table or a speed bump or different things that we could do that were more permanent, this was something that we could try out on a temporary basis.
Now, the resident that was in this area that had him put in the street for his own kids' safety did reach out to the city and create a pivotal plan to where that he is going to be the one taking care of the plants that are on top of them. A lot of the city complaints are about the design. For UATV, I'm Fletcher Cowden.
Thanks, Katie. I'm here on the east side of Fayetteville where you drive around and see a presidential candidate sign like Joe Biden or Donald Trump every other minute. Now, one thing you don't see much of is a third-party candidate sign anywhere in Fayetteville.
A vast majority of voters will be going to the polls tomorrow with their vote for a candidate already decided. Republican and Democratic nominees may garner a lot of media attention, but the ballot has plenty of options.
I voted third party because I didn't like Donald Trump or Joe Biden and felt like I was being forced to pick the lesser of the two evils, so I chose to vote third party.
For example, Joe Jorgensen is a Libertarian Party's presidential candidate. Jorgensen's campaign was framed on how the two primary parties left the country with $1 trillion debt and unnecessary foreign wars. Historically, the Libertarian Party candidate finishes third in the presidential race, but the candidate typically only gains less than 5% of the votes on average.
There's virtually no impact other than taking votes that could go toward either Democrats or Republicans.
To the winner-take-all system in today's elections, third parties don't have the backing by funds or the population, says Whitworth.
So the third party ends up being rendered like obsolete because it ends up being a numbers game instead of voting for policy that you actually believe.
Other names that appear on the ballot are Brian Carroll of the American Solidarity Party and rapper Kanye West running as an independent.
This past election in 2016, Gary Johnson of the Libertarian Party gained over 4.5 million votes. Joe Jorgensen is expected to get more, according to Newsroom. Reporting live for UATV. Reporting live. Reporting live.
Reporting live.
Reporting live. Reporting live for UATV, I'm Fletcher Cowden.